Steve here with Table Rock Tea Company. It is a cool, thankfully, morning today on the farm, and I have a very busy day ahead of me. Yesterday I spent all day trenching around the raised herb garden, and today we'll be cleaning up those trenches, getting the hydrants prepared, and hopefully completing the install and making sure that the irrigation system is actually working. So I'll show you what that's like. Again, please like and subscribe. So I've got all my stuff loaded up. Again, busy day. It's amazing how much stuff is needed for a job like this. We've got our hydrants here. I special ordered smaller hydrants that are only buried down about a foot. I didn't want to go 2 feet down on these. I've already done the adapters here. So these are going to go from the hydrant to the PEX line here, and there are 12 of those. We've got stakes that we're going to drive into the ground to fasten these two for more security. We've got our PEX line here, gravel. You're going to put this underneath these valves so that when the water weeps out, it has somewhere to go in the gravel. Let's see what else. We've got our post pounder. We've got 2 hose. We've got trenching shovels and my old friend, the pickmatic. Not a pickaxe, by the way, a pickmatic. A pickmatic goes like this and a pickaxe goes like this. Yeah, I use this thing too much here in South Carolina. These are the trenches. There are 3 spokes that go up and then 12 of these short little arms that come out to go to the hydrants. So these go up this spoke, and then there's a central radius. It goes over there. There's another trench line that way, and then one up the center that connects to the main water line. Little pro farmer tip for you. Always do your digging and hard physical labor in the morning before the sun gets out too hot. Otherwise it's brutal, especially here in South Carolina. All right, so we spent a good part of the morning just putting the pipes in, basically clearing out the trenches on all the different crosses, because when you go over with a trencher and then you cross over it, it fills the other parts with dirt. So just clearing all that stuff out so we can put the pipe down. And then I've got these faucets. You can see them lined up like this. These are very shallow, so I know I'm going to get a lot of comments. We're in South Carolina. We barely get freezing and all that kind of stuff. It's not bad. So I'm keeping these shallow because I don't want to mess with it. These things do from time to time go bad, and if you have to go digging, I sure don't want to go digging 2 feet. So let me show you over here kind of what we do. I bought a piece of channel, U-channel, and this is actually 4 feet, so it's driven 2 feet into the ground because the faucet, the hydrant itself, is not that deep. And the problem is when you use the faucet, it'll wobble. So, you know, you're moving this handle. So what you want to do is drive that U-channel in nice and deep, so that's nice and sturdy. That supports this, and you can see it just fits right in there, and then we zip tie it. So that way when you move it, now it's not backfilled yet, so it's going to wobble a little bit, but that's what we do. And of course, you know, when you do it, make sure it's level forward and backwards so that it's nice and straight. So even though our beds are on a curve, I still want the posts and the poles and the hydrants to be straight up. So anyhow, yeah, all 12 of them are in place, and now we'll start connecting the PEX. The next test is to make sure we have water going to the actual line. So I just opened up the first hydrant here, and there you go. Looks like we've got water. We won't have pressure for a while because it's got to fill up all that pipe. And while this area is dry, I'm going to show you how these weep valves work. Okay, so when you open this on, of course, all that air is coming out right now, so getting all the air bubbles out. So now, when I close this, here's what happens. See? That weep valve drips all the water down. So the next step will be putting gravel down there so it has something to weep into. What the weep valve does is it drains that whole pipe so that there's no water in it when you close off the hydrant. So that way, if you do have freezes and that kind of stuff, nothing really above ground has water in it. So that way your pipes don't burst and all of that. It's pretty clever. They've been around a really long time. I will say prices have gone up quite a bit. And again, I will put a link to these hydrants in the description. So after a long, hard day, we have 12 faucets in the ground, or 12 hydrants. The water is turned on, so we're going to leave that overnight. I've already done a spot check on all the joints. Don't see any leaks, but like I said, we'll leave it on overnight. Even if there's a small leak, we won't lose too much water. We're on a well here anyway, but that'll let me come back and assess it tomorrow, see if there's actually any leaks, and then if there are not, no whammies, no whammies, then we'll put the gravel down by the faucets, and then we'll cover it back up. Our water is turned on and there are no leaks. I've checked all of the joints and all of the faucets. So what I went ahead and did was put a little bit of gravel, or I guess utility stone, all-purpose stone, on each one of these hydrants. That's going to let that weeped water, is going to give it someplace to go. And now we bury the line. Well, that's it for the first part of the herb garden, or maybe the second part, depending on how you're calculating it. But the next step will be going ahead and getting some topsoil. It's going to be a little bit difficult finding high quality topsoil here because we have so much of this red clay. So that'll be the challenge. After that, we'll put down the drip irrigation lines and then the landscape fabric. So I'll do another video on that part as well. I'm also going to put in the link or in the description a link to these hydrants, just so you know how to get them and where to get them. So thanks again for watching. Stay tuned to see what else is brewing here at Table Rock Tea Company.